Hey guys, James here, and drone racing has become huge. You can win thousands of dollars racing drones at some events, and it's really exploded as far as, how many people are getting into the hobby of flying drones. While I do think it's really cool, I've always been an airplane guy at heart, so my new project is really FPV racing airplanes. So this first video is going to be about kind of the beginning steps of creating this. I'm going to be using this 3D Hobby Shop 48-inch edge. I've got an FPV setup, which I'll go over later, and pretty much trying to figure out how it's going to affect the flight characteristics, what changes I need to make to my design. Is it really viable to even do this? So this first video is going to be just kind of the basic intro. Hopefully over time I can get into more, how to get more speed, the best way to set up the airplanes, possibly laying out a course to fly. But this is kind of a test of concept, and I hope it goes really well. Drones are cool, but they lack the aerodynamics and some of the finer things that I think airplanes have to offer. So we'll see how this goes, and hopefully it flies okay. So I'm just going to go over my setup real quick. It's not perfect, and it's still kind of a test, but we'll see how it goes. So the main camera mount is all 3D printed. It's all my own design. I'll actually have these files up for download if you want to actually use this setup, but I'll just zoom in here. I have a ready-made RC 600 milliwatt transmitter. I have a Foxtech Hobbies camera, and that's the main guts. I have some nice antennas, left-hand circular antennas, nothing too crazy. I'm running out my main flight pack. I have a Dean's to JST thingy there. And then I have a voltage regulator right there and a filter, which is pretty important since I'm running out the main flight pack. But this is a really simple setup and it works well. And I'll be flying with, of course, my Jetty DS16. And right now my FPV is being, this is my receiver. It's just a little monitor. I'll be getting some goggles soon, but for now that's all I have. So I wanted to go for a test flight, and I'll be doing some 3D stuff, and then after I'll kind of see how it does. But my main concern with this is with the camera being mounted so far up, it will change the lateral balance, or not the CG but the other one. It'll change the balance of the airplane a little bit, also add some extra weight. This plane has been flown for 4 years, I think, so it's actually a little heavy and has a bunch of CA holding it together, but this will be a proof of concept for see if this will actually work. So this is just a basic 3D flight, nothing too crazy, just kind of seeing how the weight of the camera and the position of the camera is going to affect the flight, and it wasn't too bad. The FPV at the bottom left hand of the screen was from a different flight, but it will kind of show what we'll be seeing once I get the goggles and actually doing the flights from the goggles. The camera looks really good so far. I'm really happy with how it looks, so it's pretty promising. The only thing I gotta say is please ignore my radio yelling at me the whole time about my antennas. I pretty much have that enabled, so if I'm flying too far out of range with the FPV setup, I know to turn back around because my radio is losing signal. So enjoy this flight. It's actually a pretty good flight, not too bad in my opinion, but it shows that you could really race these airplanes with the extra weight of a camera system.
Antenna 1, 9. Antenna 2, 9. Antenna 1, 8. Antenna 2, 9. 2 minutes. Antenna 1, 9. Antenna 2, 9. Minute. Antenna 1, 9. Antenna 2, 9. 50 seconds. 40 seconds. 30 seconds. Antenna 1, 9. Antenna 2, 9. 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Antenna 1, 9. Antenna 2, 9.
Alright, so overall it flew really well. I can tell a little bit of difference with the extra weight of the camera, but that doesn't really hurt me in the long run, as with speed, a little extra weight will actually help. As far as performance-wise, the extra weight above the center line really didn't affect it too bad. I could feel it in some maneuvers, but it could be easily changed with some modifications to setup and everything. Last but not least, all the equipment that I use will be linked in the description of this video, and hopefully the part 2 of this however many part series will be up soon. I think the next step is to get some video goggles and really try and get a feel for how it's going to be if you're actually racing. So that's the next step. I'll see y'all next time.